Hello, I am Professor Kalpesh Patel, Electrical Engineering Department from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. And our subject is Control System Theory of the BE 3rd year 5th sem. And the subject code is 3130905. And our first chapter is Introduction to Control Problem. In modern time, control systems play a very important role in our daily lives. From a simple bread toaster to a complex modern power plant, there is a series of control principles that affect our life. Advanced examples of control systems are launching a satellite, regulating a generation in a power plant, tracking a plane on a radar system, etc. So, student, as an engineer, it is necessary to be familiar with the automatic control system. So in this chapter we get familiar with the definitions, classifications of control systems, applications of control system, and different types of control terminology of the industrial control examples. Flow of contents, industrial control examples, mathematical model of physical systems, control hardware and their models, transfer function models of linear time invariant systems, feedback controls, open loop and closed loop, and last one is a block diagram algebra. The control systems. First we will understand what is the control systems. By definition, the control system is that means by which any quantity of interest in a machine, mechanism or other equipment is maintained or altered in accordance with the design manners. Maintains means not change in a physical state but maintain constant, like a flow control valve which maintain the constant output discharge whatever the input in storage tank. And alter, that means it change any physical signal into the another form. In industrial there are many kind of the physical signals like pressure, temperature, etc., which are converted in electrical form because the electrical signal are easy to compare and handle and easy to transmit. So this example we can understand by the one example of automobiles speed controls. So the output of the automobile is we have to change the speed of the automobile. So to change the speed of the automobile we have to change the input of the engines, which is the fuel of the fuel. So to change the flow rate we have to change the position of the pedal. So to change the position of the pedal we have to apply force on accelerator. So by changing the by applied the desired force on pedal we get the desired speed of the engines or automobiles. So this is the here we can say that the flow from input to the output is unidirectional. So this system is known as the open loop control systems. So in other words we can say that the control system is the combination of the different kind of the blocks which is connected in such a manner so we get the desired outputs. So it is the arrangement of different types of control block. Each block has its own functions. So diagram represented here, it is known as the block diagram representation. Each block has an input and outputs which are linked together. It may be noted here the signal is flowing only in one direction. So it is known as the open loop systems. Now what is the closed loop control systems? Let us consider the another automobile driving systems. So the driver decides the route, speed and the acceleration of the automobile are determined by the observing the road conditions and the traffic. Suppose driver want to maintain the speed of a automobile at 50 km per hour, so he accelerate the automobile to this speed with the help of the accelerator and then maintain it by holding the accelerator steady. This operation can be represented in a diagram form as shown in figure. So suppose the actual speed of the automobile is measured by the speedometer and which is indicated on the speedometer dial. So driver visualize this speedometer and compare with the desired speed which is developed in his minds. By comparing these two signals, driver minds generate one error signals or a desired signal. Suppose speed is higher than the desired speed or lower than the desired speed, so it change the force on pedal. By changing the force on pedal, the flow rate will be changed. By changing the flow rate, the speed of the automobile will be changed. So by increasing or decreasing the force on the pedal, the driver get the desired speed of the automobiles. So this is known as the control system, because it visualize the speed on speedometer and compare with the desired one. So this system is known as the closed loop control systems. Let us consider the another example of the automobiles of its steering mechanisms. So simple block diagram of automobile steering mechanism is shown in figure. Suppose this is the desired path of travel and this is the actual direction of travel. So this error is generated by the drivers. So by operating the steering mechanism, driver get the desired direction by changing the steering mechanisms. So here it is the steering mechanism control systems. The desired direction of the travel which is sensed by the driver visually, which is sensed by the eyes of the drivers in this direction, and another signal which is sensed by the driver's hand. So this driver hand senses the present state of the steering mechanisms. So comparing by these three signals, which is one is the steering position signals and one is the output signal which is sensed by the driver's eye, and compare with its mind's decisions. So here we get the error signals. So according to this error, driver change the steering mechanism and get the desired path of the travels. So this is the control systems, another example of the closed loop control systems. General block diagram of the closed loop control systems. The general block diagram of automobile control system, which is characterized by the feedback loop, is shown in the figure. Here one is the error detector, it has two inputs. One is the reference inputs, one is the sense input. By comparing these two signals, the error detector generates the error. So according to this error, control elements or control system take the decision and generate the output commands, which is given to the plant. So actual process doing in the systems which is done by the plant, but what process have to do by the plant which is decided by the control system by comparing the reference input and output signals. So these two elements, it is known as the forward path elements. So because the direction of the flow path is in this direction, only in this direction, so it is the forward path elements, while this is known as the feedback path element because it sends the output and give to the comparator. Automatic tank level control systems. So this control system can maintain the liquid level H of the tank within the accurate tolerance of the desired liquid level, even though the output of the flow rate through the valve V1 is varied. So here is the potentiometer are used to comparing the two signals, reference signals and actual signals. So it has two arms A and arms B. Both are the movables. So arm A is used to set the reference level of the desired level of the water, and where the arm B sends the actual level of the water. So suppose valve V1 is open, so water level is decreasing. Because of the water level is decreasing, so flow is move downward sides. So arm move B downward sides. Because of this, the position of the A and B are changed. So here we get the error signals, which is amplified by the power amplifier and given to the motor drives. Motor turn on the valve because to operate the valve or motor, the output of the potentiometer is not enough to drive the motor. So to drive the motor, we have to amplify the error signal, which is amplified by the power amplifier. and vice versa. If so, now valve 2 is open, so water is start filling. As the water is reach at level H, so position of the arm A and arm B are equals, so there is no error signals. So the motor will turn off and it close the valve V2. So with the help of this potentiometer comparison, we maintain the constant water level H. Servo mechanisms. So the basic block diagram of servo mechanism is shown in figure. So servo system used to position a load shaft. So here motor generator sets. The motor field winding is fed by the constant current source, while the generator field winding is fed by the error signal which is generated by the potentiometers. So in a potentiometer there is two arms A and arms B, which are connected with the 100 volts battery, suppose. So and theta C is the control output, theta is the desired outputs. So desired output we have to set at the arm A. So whatever the error signal is generated, theta E, which is given by the theta R minus theta C, and it is converted in electrical form. So VE equal to Kp theta E. Suppose Kp equal to 100 volts battery. So whatever the error signal generated or angular position of the shaft, according to these error signals, we get the voltage, error voltage VE equal to Kp theta E. Suppose present status of the shaft load is 0.5 radians. So B, the value of B is 0.5 radians. So output of the arm B is 15 volts. Suppose now we set the arm A at 0.5 radians. That means also the output of the arm A is 15 volts. So we get the error signal theta equal to 0. So here we get the VE, error voltage is 0. So there is no output of the amplifier. So there is no field of generator. So there is no any kind of voltage developed in generator. So output of the motor is 0. Now assume that the new desired load position is 0.6 radians. So to achieve this, we have to set the arm A at 0.6 radians. So the output of the arm A is 16 volts, but the present status of the arm B is 0.5 radians. So output of the arm B is 15 volts. So we get the error signal of 10 volts. So this error signal of 10 volt is amplified by the amplifier and given to the field of the generator. According to this field voltage, generator generate the voltage which is given to the armature of the motor. So according to this output of the generator, motor develop the torque and drive the load at desired positions at 0.6 radians. As the load shaft reach at 0.6 radians, the error which is generated by the potentiometer is become 0 and motor stop. Now speed control using the fly ball. The schematic diagram of the speed control using the fly ball governor is shown in figure. So here one is a throttle lever, two fly balls which are connected with the lever and it pivoted with the spring, and this mechanism is directly connected with the speed of the engines. So the speed of the fly ball which is directly proportional to the speed of the engines. So desired speed of the engine which is set by the throttle lever. So this mechanism transmits the centrifugal force of the fly ball to the bottom of the spring. Under steady conditions, the centrifugal force of the flyball balance the spring force and opening the flow valve just sufficient to maintain the engine speed at the desired value. Suppose engine speed is increased, so the speed of the flyball is also increased. Because of this, the centrifugal force is decreasing and the flyball move upward sides. As the flyball move upwards, these arm move upward and these arm move downward side. As these arm move downward side, which reduce the passage of the flow, so the engine speed will be decreased, and vice versa. As the engine speed is decreased from the desired level, so the speed of the flyball is reduced, so the centrifugal force transmitted by the flyball is increased. So this bottom of the spring move downward sides, which cause this arm move upward sides. So it open the passage and increase the flow rate. So flow rate up to the desired speed is maintained. Missile launching and guidance systems. The target plan is sighted by the rotating radar antenna, which then locks in and continuously track the target. So this is the target plan, and this is the launching systems, and this is launching missiles. So at radar, which sends the position of the plane and speed of the plane. According to these informations, the launching computer generate the launching commands, and this launching command is amplified by the amplifier and given to the launchers. So at which angle a launcher have to launch the missile, which is decided by the launcher computer, and it is based on the signal which is sensed by the radar. So this is the lead angle, and this is the firing angles. So another feedback is sensed by the launching computer. This is the launcher angle. So it sends the present angle of the missile and decide at how much angle we have to fire. So as the plane reach at this point, also the missile reach at these points and intercept the target plane and destroy the target planes. If suppose after the launching the missile, target plane change its direction, the missile is also capable to change the direction because it is the guided missiles. In this, after the launching command, the radar track continuously the target plane and give command accordingly to the target plane. Command is given to the missiles. So missiles also change its direction as per the target planes and finally destroy the target plane. A constant tension reeling systems. So the winding roll which is connected with the DC motors. So for best results, paper sheets must be pulled on the wind up roll at nearly constant tensions. If the tension is reduced, it will produce the loss roll. If tension is high, then it results that there may be chances of cracking in paper sheet. So to wind up the roll, we have to maintain the constant tensions. As the motor start, wind up roll start rotating. So the paper sheet move and wind up on the rolls. As the roll is filled with the paper, the diameter of the roll is increased, which increase the paper speed, which increase the tensions. So this tension is increased, this jockey move upward sides. So this jockey move upward side, this arm move upward sides, which cut out the resistance. Because of the cutout resistance, the field current is increased. Field current is increased, the speed of the motor is decreased. So speed of the motor is decreased, so its winding roll speed is decreased, which maintain the constant tension of the speed. G2 questions: explain servo mechanism. Second one is explain automatic missile launching systems. In this chapter we completed the first topic, industrial control examples, and now in next lecture we will continue from the second topic, mathematical modeling of the physical systems. Thank you.